Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast, and we are here to talk about Married at First Sight. It's episode 4. The name of the episode is The Keys to My Heart. And it looks like we start off with the guy that looks like Drake and his wife. I'm going to learn their names because I really wasn't going to talk about them. But, I mean, they're not as boring as some of the other couples in the other seasons. So I'll give it a go. But Drake's wife, can I just call him Drake? No, I can't call him Drake. Hold on, let me find out his name. Jose is his name. And not sure of his wife's name yet, so we're just going to call her his wife. But Jose and his wife, they wake up, they're in bed. She's telling him how her dad said, listen, always have your own, because at any point in time, this man or any man could leave you. So she's very independent, and she says, well, we talked about everything that we have in common. How about we talk about some things that we don't have in common? Because she already had something on her mind. And he's like, okay, shoot. And she's like, yeah, when you were talking about brushing my teeth, that's a no for me. Okay, that's fair. And then she's like, and you keep feeding. Well, she didn't even say feeding me. She said you kept giving me food. And I'm like, that's called feeding you. And she don't like to be fed because she feels like she's not a baby. And I know some people probably think that that's weird and she's just being ridiculous. And in a way, no, I can't even say in a way she is, because you guys, I don't like holding hands. I feel like a kid. I was on a date with this guy, great guy, and we were leaving the restaurant and he put his hand behind so that I could hold his hand, and I just felt like a little ass kid holding his hand through the restaurant, and I didn't like it at all. Like, I was pissed off. So I kind of understand what she means, where other people probably think it's romantic, but everybody doesn't like the same things. So, of course, he just pretty much says, thanks for letting me know. And he's going to take note of that and I guess stop doing it for the time being. Because later on in the episode, he says, yeah, she's going to come around. She'll let me feed her. And I'm like, dude, don't feed her. All right, so then we have Bao and Johnny, and they wake up and Bao asked how he slept. He said he slept okay. He got a little bit of sleep, but he thought that there were little critters in the room with them. And I'm telling you, I would have freaked out had he told me some crap like that. And he beats around the bush, and basically he's saying that she snores and she screams like, ah. And he's like, yeah, I put in some earplugs or whatever. And then later on, you guys, we find out that it's a real issue for her. Like, she snores and she's very embarrassed by it. She says she would be at summer camp and she would not sleep because she was embarrassed and she didn't want people to talk about her. So the fact that he, says anything and makes fun of her, it really upsets her. So it's something that she really takes seriously. But we also learned that she collects bathing suits, and she doesn't really wear them out, but she collects them and she wears them around the house. And he's like, you just wear them around the house? And she's like, yeah, because if you have on like lingerie, you can't just jump in the pool in lingerie, but I could just jump in the pool. And he says, well, do you have a pool? And she says no. And I'm like, girl, hush. So then we have Mirla and Gil. And you guys, in the last review I just did today, I kept calling her Myrna. Same thing. Myrna, same thing. I still don't like it. I still don't like her. They wake up. He says breakfast is here. She gets up complaining. She complains about the fact that there's no protein. I kind of feel her on that one. She's like, so this big ass croissant is basically breakfast? And he's like, oh, she has a very strong personality. And she says, what is this? Is this milk? Can you taste it for me? Can you tell me what kind of milk it is? He says, well, if I taste it, I won't know what the difference between the milk. And she's like, you don't know the difference between regular and almond milk? So he tastes it. He says, I think it's regular. She tastes it and says, yes, yeah, it's regular. Girl, if you were going to taste it anyway, why not you just taste it? So then she calls downstairs and she's like, I ordered frothy almond milk, and that is not what I received. And he, of course, is just like, yeah, her personality is very strong, and she's very, and I'm like, very what, complainy? Like, all she does is complain. All she does is find fault with everything. They go and stand out on the balcony. She complains about the fact that there's no beach and this is not like a honeymoon, and she's just nerve-wracking. Ugh. All right, so all the couples go downstairs to meet each other, and Gil goes downstairs alone, and they're like, "Where's Myrna? She's upstairs working." And he gets to asking them. It's just very weird. He gets to asking them about kissing, and they start kissing in front of him. The ones that have kissed, they start kissing in front of him, and he's like, "I'm talking about tonguing somebody down," and they're like, "Show me." They're like kissing in front of him, and I'm just like, is he trying to live vicariously through them or what? Because I don't know, it's just giving me creepy. And he's like, yeah, so have any of you took it to the next level? And I'm like, dude, calm down, just calm down. So they ask about him kissing, and he's like, no, no, I've kissed on the cheek. And then he gets to complaining about Mirla, the complainer. And he's like, yeah, she wants things the way she wanted. And I was loving it. I was loving him getting his shit off about her and how much she complains. And then you have the girls in the confessional. Oh, I'm sure Mirla would not appreciate the way he's talking about her right now. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But I was loving it because it's true. So while they're downstairs, they notice that a couple is missing, and they're like, where is Zach and Michaela? And then they cut to Michaela. She's in bed. She's complaining about the fact that she woke up alone. She shows us the other side of the bed is empty because her husband slept in the other room because he's not feeling well. And then we cut to him, and he says, yeah, he just feels like crap, basically. He's like, he's exhausted. He hasn't eaten. He hasn't really slept in 5 days. He has chills, like he just has issues going on. He feels bad about the fact that he can't be with her, but he does not feel well. All right, so they show a little bit more of the couples, and they're getting ready to get in the pool. The women, some of the women are nervous about getting in their bathing suits and what have you. Johnny is looking at Bao's ass. Okay, great. But then we cut back to Zach and Michaela, only to find out that he has COVID. And she is fussing, full on fussing at him about the fact that she's not single anymore. And she didn't come here to do this alone. And that is why she is married. And he's like, yeah, but I would rather you be alone than have COVID. And I'm like, is she really doing this? Like, is she really doing this? That is just ridiculous. He's sick, dumbass. What are you talking about? What are you fussing about? He's sick. There's a full-on pandemic going on right now, and he happens to have the virus. What is wrong with you? Do y'all think they did it the first night? Because I do. I do. She was very enamored with him. Like, she was just like, oh my God, he's so fine. He's so gorgeous. He's so this. And when she came out in her pajamas, he was like, ooh, look at that. Look at all of that. I feel like they did it because she seems to be going through a full-on withdrawal right now. I'm not even lying. Something else is fueling all of this reaction that she's given. This is not normal. It's not what a normal person would act like, I don't think. If you just met this guy, you haven't slept with him, you are not that emotionally invested in this. I understand you want to have your honeymoon, you want to have fun, you want it to be the two of you, but listen, he doesn't feel good. Fuck it. Go to the beach or wherever y'all going by yourself. What can you do? Have a vacation. Make the most of it. Suck it up, buttercup. But all of this, the way she's acting, that's withdrawals. All right, so then we have Mirla and Gil, and they're having dinner on what looks like a beach to me. But because she complains so much, I guess it is not. So she sit down, and he has on his blazer. Listen, he looked nice. He looked stuffed, but he looked nice. And I was just confused about the weather because she had on her little spaghetti straps, and he was full on long sleeve shirt and blazer. And like I said, it looks like they're at the beach. But they sit down, and she's like, yeah, so Dish, tell me what's going on. What happened? And he's telling about all the people who kissed and everything. And I'm like, I bet you're not going to tell that you complained about her complaining. That's all right. I'm with you, Gil. And then he says, yeah, I told them that I tongue kiss your cheeks. And she's like, no, we have to watch the facial. Watch the facial. And he's like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, she's just impossible. Every scene with her irritates me because she is impossible, you guys. So he says, yeah, I know the guys are probably thinking, she hasn't kissed him because she don't like him. So I feel like that was kind of his way of trying to get it out of her, whether she's attracted to him or not. And she says, well, you don't kiss strangers. Will you kiss strangers? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, that's because you're a man. But I don't kiss people on the first, second, or third date. And she just goes on this tirade about how she doesn't do anything unless she's comfortable and yada, yada, yada. So they go upstairs and he has champagne and macaroons because she likes macaroons. He tastes them and he's like, yeah, they're just like cookies. They're just regular cookies. So she ends up asking him about the number of women that he's been serious with. He says he considers serious 6 months and over. And he's had four of those. He said he had two that he was in for like a year, year and a half. One was 6 months and then the other was like 8 months. However, he has not been in a serious relationship in the past 6 years. And she's like, oh. But what's funny is, you guys, number one, I don't see the big deal with that. Like he said, everything, or she says, everything since then has been flings. And he says, yeah. And my thing is this: I would so much rather a guy just have flings and not be a cheater. If you're not a cheater, you are not in a committed relationship, just doing whatever, beautiful. Love it. I don't care. So I'm not sure why she made a big deal out of that. But when she was talking to him, she says, yeah, so you're 35, no kids, successful. I assume you're successful, make money. And I'm just like, this girl, there's a difference, you guys, between being just a gold digger and having standards again. And I'm not sure where she falls. I'm just not. I mean, yes, you want your guy to be successful. Everything is centered around money with her. She told him that that ring, I guess maybe that's the ring that the show supplied. She's like, yeah, this ring is not working. You're gonna have to do better than this ring. And I'm just so turned off by this girl. So Michaela ends up calling Rachel and Jose, and she explains that Zach has COVID and she doesn't. So they felt like it was best that she go back to Houston. And I'm like, bullshit. I would be on that vacation. You're crazy. No, I'm going to stay here. Put me in a different room. But this is what I signed up for. This is what I'm getting. Period. So he's staying there longer. She's going back to Houston. And then Rachel's saying, oh my God, because I don't know what I would be doing. She says she's sad. Yeah. And Rachel's like, yeah, I would be sad too. And I would be trying to I would be tying sheets together, trying to sneak into his room because I just can't be apart from him. And I'm like, girl, you've known him 4 days. Stop it. Like, please stop it. And don't give Michaela any ideas because she's going through something all on her own right now. She don't need any extra ideas. So you guys, I got a kick out of this scene with Johnny and okay, I can't call him Lil Drake, Jose. And the fact that he really, really looks up to Jose. He thinks Jose is the man. He's like, yeah, I call him to help me shop because he is who I want to be like. He is just so smooth. He is just so, I think it is hilarious how they have this little, maybe one-sided bromance, but he just looks up to him like crazy. And I thought it was cute. Yeah, so he ends up buying her a shirt. And he bought himself a shirt so that they could match, and I thought it was cute. Mirla and Gail, he had a surprise for her to take her parasailing, and of course she get motion sickness. She doesn't want to do it, but she ends up doing it just for him. Although she complained the entire time they were on the ground, she complained the entire time they were in the air. Oh my God, I don't like this. No, I feel sick. No, I need you to land it. No, like she hated it. And I was going to give her kudos for even going up there because was, I would not. So good thing she went up there and tried it. But yeah, she was just so impossible, you guys. It's hard to talk about her. It really is because I can't talk about her without being irritated and saying how irritated I am. So sorry, work with me. Okay, nope. What they did was not considered parasailing. They just got in that plane that lands on the water. So yeah, they didn't parasail. I don't know where I got that from. I don't know if they were supposed to go parasailing, but No, he never said that. I made that up. Made that shit up. All right, so now we have Bao and Johnny, and he gives her the shirt that he bought for her. And it's so cute because she's like, "Oh, how did you know I was a double XL?" And he says, "Oh, well, that's all they had left." And I thought it was so cute because when she put it on, it just looked cute. It was a flowy shirt, and it just looked very oversized and fitting for the beach. And they went, he had a picnic. She was just like, "No one has ever done anything like this for me before." It was very sweet. So he tells her how he normally would never do anything like this. And you guys, he says that a lot because he said that he's normally not the first one who makes these gestures, and he waits for the girl to say she likes him first and everything. And I don't know, I don't like that about Johnny because I don't like men who wait for women to do all of that. I mean, I understand not wanting to be rejected, but I just feel like, no, be a man. And he sounds like he likes for women to kind of chase him a little bit. I don't like it. But he did tell her that, in a very, very sweet scene, so I don't want to take away from that. He did tell her that he likes her. And then we cut to commercial, and I'm like, and she's looking like, And I'm like, come on, does she like him? So after the commercial, she comes back and she says the feeling is mutual. So, yay, she likes him too. Yeah, so Johnny tells her that, I didn't know when I was going to break it to you, but I've been on over 100 first dates. And she looks like, well, damn. But to me, red flag like crazy. But not even that. I mean, that's fine. A lot of people date a lot of people. That's fine. However, what he said after that, he's not a commitment type of guy. And as soon as somebody does something that he doesn't like, he just pretty much runs and he's out. And that's a red flag for me, because if you are that testy and you have no patience, you don't want to work for anything, then I'm not about to be emotionally invested in you. And at any point in time, you can just cut out. No. So he's a no-go for me. So I'm hoping that it doesn't come back to bite her if she starts liking him, because to me, that's a major red flag. However, she doesn't take it the way I thought she was going to take it. She looked shocked at the time, but in her confessional, she says, "Oh, poor baby. He had to go out with 100 different people when he could have just had me." And she says she doesn't know if he talked to all these women after they were supposed to go out, but had he not ghosted her, he wouldn't have had to go out with 100 people. And I'm like, girl, he would have. He would have definitely let you go at some point, because that is just his MO. So then we cut to Jose and Rachel wants to talk about finances again and the fact that she is very independent. I'm so sick of her and her independent ass. Keep your independent ass single. How about that? Because I'm sick of hearing about it. Like, every discussion they have, she looks extremely serious and she looks irritated, and she talks about how independent she is. And that's fine, but don't keep talking about it every second. Jesus. So they end up having some tiramisu, and he says, "Feed me." And she's like, "You're just trying to take me out of my comfort zone." And I think I probably would have been irritated with that, because if I tell you I don't like something, don't try to bring me out of my comfort zone right away. Not until I really like you. Then I may want to do it. But initially, no, I just told you I don't like it. Well, she said she didn't like being fed. She didn't say that she didn't like feeding people. So she fed it to him, and she says, "Oh, that wasn't so bad." And he's like, "Excuse you?" And she's like, "I just feel like, oh, I'm his mother." And he says, "No, you're my wife." And I'm like, this girl got issues. But this is where he says that eventually she'll come around to wanting to be fed by him. And I'm like, don't hold your breath, Jose. No way, Jose. I'm stupid, because I really did laugh at that. So we cut to Michaela, who says she misses Zach. Then we cut to Zach, who's laying in bed with his nasty, hairy chest. I don't like hairy chest, you guys. And he's saying how he misses her so much. I miss her so much. And I'm like, you didn't even get to day 4. You've only been knowing her for like 2 days, or being around her for 2 days. Yeah, they definitely did it. I mean, he's like, "I miss her so much." And I know it sounds crazy. Yeah, it does. It sounds crazy. All right, you guys. And so we end the episode with Jose and Rachel once again sitting in bed having a conversation about finances and the fact that she wants to have her own and a joint. He just wants them to have a joint. She says, no, I feel like, I'll be getting an allowance. And this girl just shouldn't be on this show. She really shouldn't. I feel like she wants to be alone. And I'm not mad at her. Like, I'm not mad at that. If you are used to doing everything alone and you are so independent, then again, stay independently single. But don't get on a show and get married if you don't want to do married things, ma'am. Although he may be a little bit ridiculous because I think he's the one that his mom and dad or somebody said that he keeps a whole board of his finances on the refrigerator or somewhere where he writes out all his bills and everything. And I'm telling you, that is so cool for him to be that fiscally responsible. But yeah, that would probably get a little irritating. But damn, she want to knock out all these conversations in the first 2 days, ma'am. So yeah, anyway, that is where it leaves off. And I didn't talk about the other couple, the one with the red head and the boring guy, because yeah, they're boring. And I don't think he likes her. It is what it is. They're boring. So I will see you guys next week for the next episode. So if you have not, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys soon for the next video. Smooches.